This is our week 9 NFL betting show. We're going to go through and give you our 3 favorite picks this week, including our lock of the week. We took our bye week last week. No, did we get the betting? I forget.
No, we did
The
DFS.
DFS, but we didn't do bets. So took a bye week, but now we're back for the rest of the season. Who wants to start us off with their first pick?
I think I have the most exciting game out of these first rounds. So we're going down to where's this game even being?
Germany.
Frankfurt.
Germany. Frankfurt. Sure. All right. We're going Kansas City, Miami, two of the best offenses in the NFL. We're going to keep it simple here. Taking the over. I think Miami's probably actually going to win this game, and then they'll probably see each other again in the playoffs, and that's to be determined. But just two high-powered offenses. The Chiefs' defense this year is probably one of the better defenses they've had in a while, but the loss to Nick Bolton, I think, is huge. We talked about that a little bit last week. He kind of held down the middle of the field pretty well and locked down tight ends. So I don't think that fares very well against, Jalen Waddle and whatever the Dolphins throw from the slot. So I think the Dolphins are going to win, but I'm just going to cheer for points at 8 a.m. here. So
football, literally from the second you open your eyes.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I could see the NFL. People can believe like what they want about like if refs have influence. More than ever this year, I've been seeing all of this ref talk, but like if the NFL is like they go to international and they're saying, we want this to be entertaining,
juggernauts.
Yeah.
Lean on the side of like this being an entertaining game filled with points. I don't know. You could see either ref if it's coming down to a call, just letting things go or whatever to make points.
And the best part about betting on this game, you're going to start winning early and often. Those tickets are going to cash before the main slate even hits. So you're doubling down on some Browns football by noon. This is going to be a great, glorious Sunday.
Only if you want to give your money back. But all right. Who wants to go next?
I'll take it here. I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers +3 on the road in Houston. Houston offense looked abysmal last week against a really bad Panthers team. I know PB was on the side, talked about it. I'm taking the Panthers last week. CJ Stroud, great first, 6 games. Like he's done very well. He's exceeded expectations of a lot of people. But now he's kind of coming off, maybe that high of being basically untouchable. He's kind of slipped up the last couple of weeks. I know he just threw his first pick a couple weeks ago. And he didn't look very great last week
against the Saints.
Okay, sweet. But now you have against the Bucs, who have a much better defense than the Panthers. Not saying they're a great team, but they stopped the run. Obviously, where you beat them is the throw. And I just if CJ Stroud is throwing the ball 35 plus times, I think this is a game where he loses. They need to make it a little bit more balanced. And on the Bucs side, they don't score a lot of points. The Bucs their offense is pretty abysmal too. Baker, love the guy, kind of coming into form. But he'll spice it up, once in a while here, and they still have, their great weapons on the outside. They didn't trade anyone away, even people calling in for Mike Evans, but I'm going to take the Bucs here at plus money at +3 in I think a low scoring game.
Yeah, the Texans just can't get a rhythm going on offense if the run game's not there. And I saw last week the split carries between Dameon Pierce and Singletary and Mike Boone. Like they ran Mike Boone out there 30% of the time with two healthy guys in front of him. I'm like, what are they doing? So sorry to all those Dameon Pierce owners out there, but my gosh, come on, figure it out.
Well, that leads me to my pick. Kind of, I'm not going to take either side of this game, but I will take the over 40. And the reason is, so Damian Pierce looking like he might not even play. He was banged up. So I think Houston's game plan, which, I mean, I know you said, Corey, like they need to lean on the run game, but I mean, Damian Pierce might miss. It's not like they're just going to lean on Singletary. I think they lean more on Stroud possibly this game. And you're going to see just as, I think his pass attempts are going to increase this game. Houston's rush defense is very weak. So, Rachaad White on Tampa Bay side, I think he's in for a pretty solid game here. But he's also used in the pass game pretty heavily. And we know Baker is one of the more pass heavy. He's one of the pass heaviest quarterbacks in the league. So in a game where I just think both sides are going to be pretty pass heavy, that leads me to believe this is going to go over 40. Not a fan of both quarterbacks. So it's not like when you have Mahomes and like Jalen Hurts, super pass heavy attack. But this is only 40 points, and I think it can go over that. So
I don't know
I'm
how
on
you can talk down to Baker like that. He's the best QB in your division.
Yeah, okay. He's played.
I was going to ask
awful.
Corey, why do you think they would have given up Mike Evans when they're going to win the division?
That's chill.
Yeah,
do that. You don't do that.
Yeah, you're right.
You don't trade Mike Evans, which they were shopping. Well, wait, you're saying that they wouldn't give him up?
Yeah, because they're going to win the division and make it to the
playoffs. Why would a team?
I just don't think the trade was like it probably wasn't worth it to them, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, when you're in the hunt for a division, you're still going to probably lean towards like, oh, let's try to win the division. Baker's still not been good all year, so I don't want to hear about he's coming into form. He's been horrible all year long. So yeah, I'm just going to take the over.
All right. Well, on to a much more exciting game. Seahawks, Ravens. I'm going to grab the over here as well at 44.5. I just think the Ravens are really rounding into form right now. Lamar has looked really good the last 2 weeks, putting up over 30 points a game. Seattle, too, came out and had a really good first half against the Browns. They kind of sputtered out a little in the second half, but I think they're going to be able to do some damage here against this Baltimore secondary, which is still a little bit banged up. And on top of that, these two teams, they never play. So, like, they don't have tape on each other. The last time they did was 2019. So they're coming in here a little bit fresh. I mean, obviously, you've got tape from the previous 8 weeks, but they haven't played each other in so long. There's a little unfamiliarity there. So that, I just feel like 44 is too low for this one. So I'm going to grab the over.
Okay.
JSN finally showing up too. So
yeah,
you gotta like that for the points.
Not really doing that much with his opportunities, but move it on.
Corey, go ahead with your second pick.
Yeah. I'm taking as a Colts fan, I'm obligated.
Wait.
You're obligated for a bet show.
I'm obligated to take this game. It's in our Bible as Colts fans. You bet against previous head coaches that were really shitty. And Frank Reich is a really shitty head coach of a team that is not very good at this moment. They got the first win last week on a 23-yard field goal from Eddie Pinheiro, who I can't believe is still in the league. Honestly, I totally forgot that guy even existed. But yeah, I mean, the Colts offense they score points. Carolina's offense cannot score points. I don't know how many times have they got to like 28 points this year. I don't know if they have gotten to 28 points.
Well, when you play the Colts, you're bound to hit that number.
You're not. But so the Colts.
You said the Saints couldn't score. What did they put up on you? 40?
You mute him, Alex. I just don't want to hear his annoying naggy voice. It's just like, so go blow your nose or something. But
Colts?
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts.
Bring out
here.
the best in everyone.
Dude, shut the fuck up.
Whoa.
You've been muted. Go on, Corey.
My God. I'm taking the Colts -2.5 on the road versus Carolina. I just think their offense is significantly much better than the Panthers. Better coach across the board. And, have to take against Frank Reich, who can't even call plays anymore. He's just like, I'm really bad at my job, so I'm going to give it up. So, give me Colts -2.5.
It was pretty funny when he went in there and was like, "Yeah, the meetings with the GM have not been fun." It was like 2 weeks in. You're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, this is good. This is a good start."
Yeah. So not great. You won't last.
This might be worse than when the Saints beat the Colts if you lose this one.
Why don't you tell us your
Go
pick,
ahead.
DB?
Oh, I'm on Atlanta, Minnesota over
Terrible
37.
pick. Why are you doing that? That's such a bad pick.
Tell me, you can tell me why you think it's terrible.
It's a terrible pick.
Josh
Okay.
Jobs does not know that offense.
Josh Dobbs probably won't even be starting. It's going to be the
Okay.
other guy. So Will Levis just threw for 4 touchdowns in his first career start against Atlanta. Not saying this Minnesota quarterback is the type of prospect that Will Levis was, but I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota comes out and this quarterback isn't looking good, that he comes in at halftime, takes over. Kevin O'Connell on the other side, Kevin O'Connell, no matter what quarterback he has, isn't just going to change up his game plan. Like, they've been pass heavy all year long. They are not relying on Alexander Madison and Cam Akers, who have been awful. That duo might be the worst running back duo in the entire league. They've been so bad. And so, yeah, they're going to at least see what they have in their quarterback. They have still got weapons, Hawkinson, Addison. And then on the other side, we see Atlanta making the QB change over from Ritter, who's been one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, to Taylor Heineke, who I'm not saying is a great quarterback, but better than Ritter. We've seen him have success passing the ball, and Minnesota's defense is nothing great. And so I think, again, this is going to be you're going to see some successful passing on both sides of the ball, and it doesn't have to be that successful to go over 37 points. This is a very, very low line, and I think it's just set here because Vegas thinking the public is very skeptical of these two quarterbacks and likely to take the under, so they set it really low and just pounce on the over now.
All right, go ahead, Alex.
But yeah, Corey, you take the under since it was a bad pick and see how that plays out.
Well, Nick, why don't you go ahead?
No, because
have
we're on the same. We're on different sides.
Ah, okay. I had that backwards. All right. Well, next pick here, Cincinnati Bengals -1.5, getting a great night game against the Bills. Joe Burrow has made 4 home starts at night in his Bengals career. He is 4-0 straight up. They are finally rounding into form, just like they did last year. And the Bills have looked like a team who has been in trouble and has not looked like that same Bills team that we're talking about going into the year every year with Josh Allen as Super Bowl contenders. A lot of injuries piling up on that defense. And I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with the Bengals in this one. I think Joey Burrow is going to continue to play top tier football, and they're going to pull this one out at home.
Yeah, we'll see.
You think DeMar Hamlin plays his first game here?
He could potentially pull one of the most hilarious pranks of all time this game.
My prediction at the beginning of the year, and when we were talking about comeback player of the year, was he was going to wait till this game to return to get those fans super hyped up. And then once he steps on the field, he's just going to win comeback player of the year. We'll see if this is the game he makes his return.
The epic.
All right, go ahead, Nicholas. See it.
All right. I'm choosing more exciting games this year. Football potential playoff matchups. So going with the Cowboys, America's team, +3 against the Eagles on the road. Last week was very impressive for the Dallas Cowboys. The only time maybe in my life I said, wow, the Cowboys look like a great football team. So I think they keep the momentum going. And I think, after they got that beat down from San Francisco now 3 weeks ago, they started to turn things around and play some serious game. We saw it last week big time. So Obviously a huge rivalry game, but my theory in this one is more so around just how the Eagles and Cowboys always split. And I think that the Cowboys always lose when it matters, right? So I think Philly wins later on in the year, potentially in the playoffs as well. So I think this is a game that Dallas wins on the road.
Okay.
Is this the first time Dak's really faced Eagles like healthy? I feel like in his whole career, it's either he's been like injured or remember like Cooper Rush had to come in. Is this the first time that he's actually been healthy?
He's 8-3 against the Eagles.
Yeah. I mean, on the other side of the ball too, like I just wasn't very impressed with the Eagles last week hanging around with the Commanders. A generally terrible offense, putting up 31 points on that defense, like kind of shows you where they're at with all the injuries. They're just pretty beat up in the secondary, and people know how to expose that now. So I don't know. I mean,
I meant the
Eagles'
Jalen
offense is
Hurts
great,
era,
but-
Corey.
Oh, Jalen Hurts. I can look it up really quickly, but
Yeah, I don't. For some reason, I just feel like I've rarely seen these two play each other.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, he was
even-
hurt last. He's 2-2 versus the Cowboys. So his first game was 2020, first series 2020, and then 2021, and then 2022. Then he was hurt that game with Gardner Minshew that came in. Yeah, so I'm on the opposite side here for my lock of the week. I'm taking the Eagles at home -3. Yes, the Cowboys looked good against a mediocre Rams team. You know, they got up big early. Congrats to them. I mean, Dak looked impressive for the throws that he had, he made. But again, it's still the Eagles at home. I could care less about previous weeks, what's going on. This is a different game. This is like this mid-season Super Bowl for both of these teams in this conference. Because honestly, whoever wins, probably this game, or wins both these games, wins the division. I mean, because the Giants are nowhere, the Commanders are selling their team, so these are the most important games for both these teams. And I think at home, I think the Eagles are they play much better. I understand their issues in the secondary, and that's what the Cowboys are trying to. I mean, they have Tony Pollard, and they're not really utilizing him that much. And they're going to want to throw the ball against the Eagles. So I think it's going to be a high scoring game. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think the Eagles just outs the Cowboys with that defensive front. They get pressure on Dak, who still crumples like a wet paper towel against, pressure. He doesn't really like to run the ball anymore after his numerous injuries with his ankle. So I'm going to take the Eagles here. They're healthy-ish. Cowboys are healthy-ish. Again, at home, I'm taking them. And a meaningless stat. You guys want to hear this one? This is a really good one. The Eagles are 9-4 ATS in the last 13 games played on a Sunday when playing at home. So just throw that little cheddar at you.
Oh, yeah, very, very good relevant stat for sure.
Corey,
their offense is so boring. Like they just chuck it to AJ Brown every time. Like,
yeah, and it works.
Why wouldn't you throw it to Terrell Owens 2.0 every time?
I'm not blaming them for doing that. It's just not creative.
I mean, the Cowboys throw to CeeDee Lamb every time.
Yeah. What are you talking
I
about?
do think it could definitely be
20 targets.
a little
last
bit of
game.
a shootout.
Which
Yeah,
let Alex go.
What you're teeing me up for right now. We're talking about it, boys. We're going with the over 46 here. The last 5 times the Cowboys and Eagles have met, most of which have been the Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott matchup. The total has gone over, was that 4 out of 5 times? And 2 out of those 5 times, the most recent 2 games, has gone over 70. So I think we could see a lot of points here. Eagles secondary has been their Achilles heel this entire season. We've talked about it pretty much every week. And CeeDee Lamb is looking like that alpha wide receiver one that we all know he is. And on the other side of the ball, they've got a true alpha as well in AJ Brown. Just doing absolutely insane things these past 7 weeks. So I think we're in for a lot of points, and I'm going with the over. Lock it in.
I'm curious why this game is not I mean, of course, the game in Jerry World is on primetime, but the game in Philly is not primetime. Just funny how that works.
That's what happens when you pay the league the most money.
All right, Nick, you want to go? You want to save yours for last?
No, I'll go. My lock of the week is going to be coming from the Bills-Bengals game, another potential playoff matchup here. I think it'll be a close game, but ultimately, I just don't believe the Bengals have the same defense they did 2 years ago. I think Jesse Bates was a huge part of that secondary being so dominant. He's not there, and you could definitely tell. Obviously, Joey Burrow's back in form with, his duo of wide receivers. They're great. I think they're, hats off to them. But Bills found their guy in Dalton Kincaid. He's rolling hot. 15 fantasy points for him last week. Got me a couple dubs. So I'm going to keep riding the Bills Mafia train here. We're breaking tables, and Bills plus 2.5.
Also, you didn't even mention they just bolstered their secondary.
Who'd they get? I didn't even know. I didn't even see anything.
You're just blindly taking, not like watching anything. Like you weren't following the news yesterday.
Living under a rock this week. Heads in the books, doing work.
Well, they got Rasul Douglas from the Packers. So
Razul, yeah.
Rasul.
He's been pretty good this year. He hasn't been terrible.
Yeah.
He's been
he's a good addition. Obviously,
Yeah.
sometimes it takes a little bit to get into the worked into the new team, but
he'll be thrown right into the fire right away.
All right. I like that even more. I mean, I don't think Rasul Douglas is like swinging the game in either way, but
No, but it just
Like
they're
this before, you gotta love it now.
yeah.
yeah. Just saying, like that's where the Bills have been getting just trounced is secondary.
I like Alex's side that game better.
Okay. Well,
All right.
we know you're a closeted Bengals fan and Cowboys fan, so
Did I take the Bengals or Cowboys here? Even though
all
I
you talk about is
Okay.
Joe Burrow. You're like, good morning, everyone. Joe Burrow's still the greatest quarterback ever.
In case anyone forgot.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, thanks.
all right. My
That's a
lock
weird way to
is
spell
Chargers. My lock is Chargers -3. This line made no sense to me. Like it stood out to me. Yeah, I know this. You think I don't know how Corey this week. First week I'm on the Chargers, I think all year, and Corey's not on them here. But yeah, this just when it stood out to me so much. Like last week I was on the Giants against the Jets. I was like, I think the line was +3. I thought they were just gonna win straight up, which if it wasn't for the shenanigans at the end of the game, they would have. And they would have won with -9 passing yards with their third string quarterback against the Jets. Like my whole spiel last week was about it still being Zach Wilson. Like it's still Zach Wilson leading this team, and the public hates betting the Chargers, especially like in these way. And I understand the Chargers are just notorious. They play down to competition, and they always find themselves in these close games. But I mean, this line should be, I don't know, like 7 or higher, in my opinion. Like,
well, the Chargers also don't have a home stadium.
Okay, yeah. I mean, this is also not at home. This is in New York, I believe, right?
No, isn't it in? Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Never mind. We tracked
it's in
the
New
stadium.
York.
NFL show, boys. NFL show.
Corey's random stat 2 of the show.
Yeah, no,
Right,
if this was in LA, then it probably would be closer to that 7 that I talked about. But yeah, I mean, this is Justin Herbert versus Zach Wilson. I don't get what I'm missing here. The only thing the Jets have is that defense, but like, I do think Herbert is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and so I'm not usually as afraid of those matchups when it comes to QBs like him. So I'm on Chargers -3.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Herbert fan, to be honest. I think he's overhyped. He hasn't played up to his expectation. I mean, I think he's a
For
good
sure, but,
quarterback.
like-
I just don't think he's played up to
Great regular
where
season.
where everyone seems to rank him like among top 5 potential league quarterbacks. It's like
Yeah, he puts up
he's
numbers.
just not there.
He's gonna
I
be-
just think, yeah, I mean, I think that in these like big shootouts against like the Mahomes and Allen, some of these guys, yeah, he seems to fall short, but like I'm not worried about Zach Wilson. Like I'm
Yeah.
just not.
Did you watch that
And,
Battle of New York last week? It was possibly the worst football game I've ever seen in my life.
I was just talking about it, Nick.
Yeah. It was, I thought I was watching like Division III high school football. It was painful.
Yeah, it was rough, but that'll do it for our betting show for week 9. We'll be back for our DFS show to break down this pretty ugly slate. I would say this is a pretty ugly slate for DFS. But hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.
like and subscribe.